Produced by Hard Knocks Production. This video and music is used as fair use as a disclaimer.
I take the world see, I'm a motherfucking different breed. But you know, for 2024, I think I'm bringing back my Pac and the Outlaws. Hey, this that rebirth, birth.
I come from the guard.
You know.
I know that. I got no education. That's okay.
You know.
Get on the street.
I go to the top, you know what I mean?
And I'm making all the right connections.
I go to the top. Revolution.
They're not stopping me.
In the midst of the motherfucking New
I
World
can go
Order.
right to the top.
It's a motherfucking New World Order, you know? It's a New World Order, my niggas. Watch your motherfucking back. New World Order. It's a New World Order. My natural poor ops be the government protected by these racist cops. Fuck my ops, they can't stop Chris rise. Never them energized by the soul to the waiter. As the world turns, I get greater. And this rap shit spit fire. Turn up the heat to as high as 50. Watch my enemies fight. Run carefree from these hot burning flames. Burning untamed wildfire. Kill all my foes is my desire. Burning past and slashes through the city streets in a big body beamer. See these demon niggas and pump police. I can see a black man advance. My niggas, you better wake your ass off that slave trance and take a stand. This is a fucking New World Order. Motherfuckers have been sacrificed, slaughtered at the altar. It's a motherfucking New World Order. It's a New World Order, my niggas. New World Order. New World Order. Military mind of a general. I got a mission to get Satan a fucking funeral. Born ghetto black trapped behind enemies' line. Where nigga can't find no peace, no sleep. Cause I got revenge constantly on my mind. Shoot the fucking 9 in the back 10. And when my bullet go inside the op, it's hard stop. Hit the fucking target. You niggas better get hit to my marksmanship. I come equipped to give a motherfucking death. Like Dr. Kevorkian. Murder motherfuckers with ease. Expeditionally swing the trigger. Got more death for the fuck nigga. In this racist ass system. Of all the bullshit they did to my brother Lamont. I swear I blast you bitch motherfuckers in the face with the song on pump. That's right bitch. I get the dumping on shit in the midst of the motherfucking New World Order. New World Order. It's a New World Order, my niggas. It's a motherfucking New World Order. Pay attention. It's a New World Order. It's a fucking New World Order.
Hey, peace to the black people around the globe. Peace and power, peace and black power, peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. Underground Warrior TV, I'm back with another one, y'all. I dig this. This is a commemoration to Malcolm X, what he meant to us as black people. Malcolm X did try to fight the white supremacists, and it cost him his life. On this day, February 21st, 1965, Malcolm X was assassinated by the United States of America. And this takes me right up to where everybody's been talking to me about politics. The 10th person today at the store asked me how come I won't speak on the Republican Party as being a threat to black people in America, and I should speak in the behalf of the Democrat, and I should ask our people, black people, to vote Democrat, because the Republicans are very racist and they have some things set up for black people. There's a lot of things going on in Florida as it relates to if the Republicans get in power, that the citizens, white citizens and law enforcement will go on a rampage of killing black people. I don't know if that's true, but a lot of that is going around as if that's going to be the case if the Republicans get in power. I could see that with anyone in power, whether Democrat or Republican. The country is headed for destruction. I don't think nothing will save America. I think she's headed to be a country that will further push black citizens further down the totem pole as citizens. As you see, the borders are being allowed to be invaded, and the immigrants are getting financial backing by the United States government, which has not paid its full restitution to the African diaspora. We're talking about reparations for the act of enslavement of black people. As I go on and look at the history of the United States, its government, how it deals with black people in the past up to 2024, it doesn't make a difference who in office. We're still going to suffer because us as black people, we didn't take the initiative to galvanize with each other and try to get something for ourselves. Of course, we're going to have some pushback. Anytime black people try to go and excel and try to be independent, some white entity find a way to sabotage our mission, our position in life, if it's a tangible position where the people can see that you're doing something for the people, doing something for your people. They never want to see black people in a position of really having power, of being an independent power structure. When you're an independent power structure, then the white vultures can't eat off of poor black people. That's how capitalism survived, off the backs of the poor. You got to study these things to see why voting for Democrat is just as dangerous as voting for the Republicans. The Republicans are straight up racist. I get it. They outwit it. They spew their racism. What did Mitch McConnell say a few years ago when they had a discussion on reparations? He say that America don't owe blacks no reparations for something that happened many years ago, but we did give the black populace a black president. How racist as that can be. Negroes and white folks love trying to push symbolism onto our people instead of giving us the substance. That's symbolism. You deal with symbolism so much and don't get no substance. So, the 2024 election, I think it's going to come down to Joe Biden and Trump. Either one of those chumps, as it relates to black people, you don't have nothing coming. We don't even pull our resources together to buy a politician. First of all, where is our politician that we can endorse with our money? So we can't even pull resources together to buy a politician. That's what happens. The special interest groups, some of the places where you shop at are interest groups. They pay monies for politicians. There's groups, other entities who buy politicians. And most of these entities, these organizations, hate black people. They make sure they keep you on the bottom. So what is my vote? What is good is my vote in 2024? What good is a black vote in 2024? Was it a good vote in 1965? What did we have a good vote in 1870? Did we vote in the 1880s? Did we vote in the 1800s? We was enslaved in 1865. Our ancestors, so-called ratification of proclamation, emancipation, 13th and 14th Amendment ratifies that we were free, but we wasn't really free if you really look at it. It's always, when you're dealing with the white man, you're always dealing with a string attached, something in the clause. You feel what I'm saying? There's going to be a clause in your freedom. You're free, but 14th Amendment ratify you being a free black man, black woman, black child. But to create slavery, we're going to hit you with vacancy laws when you release from the slave plantation. We know you got nowhere to go. So if you're hanging somewhere where you ain't supposed to be at, I can lock you right back up. So slavery never really left America. If you can get convicted of a felony, slavery can be reimposed up on you. Servitude. Trust me. Voting rights. We're going to talk about voting. And you're going to tell me the reason why that black people are stuck in the position that we're in today because we don't vote? We don't vote. Democrats and Republicans don't have nothing for black people when you vote. Voting rights for black people was a bill passed by Congress in February 27, 1869. Yes, 1869. The law was ratified February 3rd, 1870. The 15th Amendment. The 15th Amendment granted black men right to vote. But in the face of white supremacy, that was short-lived. 1965, the ancestors were so-called free from servitude. 1869, Congress passed a law ratified on 1870. A year later, the 15th Amendment granted black men the right to vote, but in the face of white supremacy, that amendment was another step in the struggle just to vote. You see what I'm saying? Black people in southern states could vote and hold position in public office in 1880s, but early 1890s, the white supremacy of America found a way to stop the black vote. 1865. We was on that plantation. Our ancestors was on that plantation. Some of them didn't know how to read and write. The English reading and the English writing. Africans didn't know some of the language. So, if you were an African who couldn't read, majority of the Africans couldn't read, you wasn't allowed to vote. So, in the 1890s, the European Confederates, the former Confederates, and the United States governments in the North came up with a law to prevent black people from voting. You couldn't read, you couldn't write. Then they had another law that stopped black people from voting. It was called the Grandfather Clause. The Grandfather Clause did not exist or pertain to black people because they didn't take into account, Europeans did not take into account that you captured Africans and brought them to a country, a place where they do not speak the language and do not read the language. So you come up with the tax law. That's the other law. The tax law. If you couldn't pay taxes at the polls in the 1890s, you could not vote. So they came up with the economic strategy to stop black people from voting back then. So from the 1800s, 100 years to 1965, the Voting Right Act of Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon B. Johnson. He only passed that right in 1965, following the Bloody Sunday, March 7th of 1965, where the Alabama police in Selma, Alabama, troopers beat black people, black men, and black women and children, sick dogs on them, water hosed them, beat them, arrest them, put them in the hospital, black people for marching to vote. The march was to vote. Selma, Alabama. King was in this march. The Voting Right Act was passed August 6, 1965. Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Voting Right Act. So, my thing is this, black people. It was so many devices used to stop the black vote, to keep black people disenfranchised. No one wants to see black people independent economically. That's a threat to white people's survival. And we could get into that when we start talking about genetics and getting into the real currency that America doesn't have. America is headed for an economic all-out depression. And when I say this recession is going to happen here right before your very eyes, by 2030, 2040, 2050, I'm afraid to say what America will probably look like. It'll probably be a desolate place. America is about to fall. So I don't know how good the black vote would be for the Democrat. If you want to vote Democrat, I don't have any dog in that race. That's on you. I can't tell you how to vote. I can just tell you what we should do as black people. I can't control nothing. I can't control the algorithm of these videos that are put out. For some apparent reason, stagnation is put on my videos because I'm speaking raw, uncut truth about voting. So, my question is, from 1965, we're not going to count the 1800s, coming up out of slavery and Reconstruction, Jim Crow laws, where they made all kind of laws. It was short-lived votes, so I'm not counting any of those votes or those positions that we held our people for a short time in the late 1800s. And then the white supremacists of this country came up ways to stop us from voting. And then Selma, Alabama, in 65, they beat you all upside the head, sick dogs on you, just to vote. What we thought back then that we could change the reality of racism through voting. We thought that we could vote ourselves out the matrix. Just like black people will force themselves to eat at white restaurants. I know for a fact how wicked white people are. That they didn't want to serve you food, and when they was forced to feed you food, you know how much spit and poison that you got in your food? You got to be crazy to think that you're gonna barge your way up on the government that has nothing for you. The little things that black people have, the little rights that we have, it's always been through struggling and demonstration. Now you don't have any of that. So to get reparations in this country would be the only way that I will vote for any of those people if they running on reparations. But you got corporations outside government that do the bidding against us. We don't have that kind of power. That's why we got to get black power. We too busy as individuals chasing the bag. I can't tell you how to vote. I don't think your vote necessarily gonna change the condition of black people in this country. Just when Obama came in, Minister Farrakhan told y'all from the beginning, he do not expect Obama to change the condition of black people in his position, because the powers that circumference Obama, the powers that be, the president never runs the world. It's the power that surrounds the president. So I can't tell you how to vote, brothers and sisters. I know y'all keep asking me to speak about voting. But if you're going to vote, the Joe Biden administration, the Trump administration, or whoever administration need to address the economic program for black people. We need to talk about the restitution that's owed to black people. Black people not begging. You owe down. You owe restitution. When white people dropped the bomb on Japan, Nagasaki, white people of this country, the ruling class, rounded up the Japanese, killed them, beat them, and put them in concentration camps. Brothers and sisters, they owe us reparations. They gave it to the Japanese when they rounded the Japanese up in this country and put them in concentration camps and paid them restitution for dropping bombs on Nagasaki in Japan, but won't pay you $1. You heard what Mitch McConnell said. We can't pay black people reparations for something that happened 200 or 300, 400 years ago. Yes, you can. Because entities today, businesses thrive because the history of slavery. A lot of these organizations and a lot of white people that own property and business today came from their forebearers, which was slave owners. So what do you mean? If that money can be generational wealth, if white slave owners can leave generational wealth, that money is still owed to black people. I don't care what they say or what you say. If you a black person against reparations for your people, social economic segregation were added to black people. Black America's loss of political power in 1896. The Supreme Court decision, Presley versus Ferguson, legalized separate but equal facilities for the races. So when they did that, nobody wasn't hiring your ass, so you couldn't vote if you was broke. How in the hell you gonna pay taxes at the poll in the 60s to vote? So more than 100 years after that, black people are still overwhelming the majority of people who are treated as second-class citizens in this country, ever since the Jim Crow segregation system. So, reparations should be the first thing that black people should address when voting. What is a vote going to do for black people? What is my black vote going to do for black people? All these black Republican candidates that's trying to get somebody to vote for them, oh, ain't no more. They dropped out. Did Tim Scott drop out? Did Tim Scott drop out? Tim Scott was a Negro who said slavery wasn't bad. No, he said that, no, let me take that back. Tim Scott is the one who said racism, America's not racist. The other black conservative said that slavery was a blessing. The brain surgeon, I can't think of his name, but what's the brain surgeon name, y'all? Supposed to be a brain surgeon. He's a conservative now. It's gonna come to me. I'm gonna bring it up. Then you got Kansas Owens. She runs around here. Everything that's wrong in America is the Democrats. No, everything wrong in America is white supremacy. She tries to get black people to go with the Republicans. What do a black vote offer the black people? What do our vote get us? We want something for our vote. We tired of symbolism. So, if Joe Biden and this administration can send money to Israel to sponsor terrorism and genocidal wars in the Congo and Sudan, because you know they behind those wars, then they can pay the African diaspora, us black people who suffer economically, socially, politically in this country. Black people should demand an explanation why black people have not been paid restitution and everybody else have. The hell, we should not vote for Democrat Party unless the Democrats meet some of the criteria and demands of the African community in America. Joe Biden giving money to the immigrants. He's opened the borders, y'all, and let them all in and giving them money. Money that should have been allocated to the black community and black people. We the last on the totem pole because we don't ever think black first. You see, when you don't think black first, that's what's happening. Mass incarceration. Can we address mass incarceration? Why some of our people are locked up? Petty crimes, doing a lot of time. What about our people on death row who are actually innocent, but the Supreme Court won't let them free? What about the political prisoners, some that still living, the old people still living, who set the stage for revolution, who helped change some of the situations in America, some of the racist situation in America, untied certain things that we can do now that we couldn't do in the time of Jim Crow. The political prisoners that are locked up just for fighting back an unjust system. Why they haven't been exonerated? Why they still lingering in jail? How come their names have been tarnished and not clear that America locked these political prisoners up in the 60s for no apparent reasons? So the justice system have to be addressed. Why do the justice system have majority population of black people, the majority of population of black people in the penitentiary? What I'm saying, blacks are the majority in the penitentiary, but represent a minority percentage of the American population. But we the majority in prisons, in jails, in probation. How did that come about if it's not a conspiracy? What about land? Black people need land so we could go for ourselves. Black people, due to slavery of our ancestors, and we was held back for 4 centuries economically. So we should be talking about being tax exempt on our own land where we could go for ourselves. No government intervention like they did in 1921 in Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. During segregation, when black people had their own towns, had their own banks, hospitals, a flourishing community that had big money, had their own theaters. No government intervention should invade our own land in this country. We need a land of our own. Let's demand that if you're going to talk about the vote. It's nothing wrong with voting, but get something for your vote. We can build businesses on those lands and we can employ our own people. This is what we want. We want power. Housing ties into the land too. We need housing for our people. It shouldn't be one black person on the streets of America with no housing. We built this country. Black people deserve better treatment. So when you vote, vote for something, not for nothing. You've been voting ever since 1965, almost 60 years. Tell me, what have you got from a vote, either Democrat or Republican? Neither one of those entities done anything to put black people in a rightful position, and they owe down. This is nothing that black people are begging for. All white empires who participate in slavery owe black people. Facts. They built institutions off Africans. How you think the royal family got rich? They built that institution of Africans. Fuck Buckingham Palace. Pay restitution to Africans. The King James that y'all talk about, This is why I don't deal with your Bible. King James was a slave owner. How in the hell is he in your book, your religious book? King James Version. That is him. He was a slave owner. Buckingham Palace. Look it up. Stop police brutality. What president gonna step up to stop police brutality? Stop the police from killing black people. We get our own land, our own city. We should be able to govern our own people. Police our own people. Because the policing is abuse in this country against black people. The history reflects. So that's why I say I don't vote. Because it don't matter who's in office, the oppression against the African continues. The saga against African black people continues. The abuse continues. No matter if it's Democrat and Republican. I've seen the Republicans bring the crack cocaine in to the community. Ronald Reagan and Bush Sr. with the help of a petty officer, Navy SEAL officer, Olive North. Any of y'all know about Free Ray Ricky? Get his book, The Real Rick Ross. Not the Rick Ross, the rap, but the real Rick Ross. Well, the CIA sponsored wars to pay for these wars in the Contra-Iran War and the Panama Canal War. To sponsor these wars, they sold crack to destabilize the black community, kill two birds with one stone, stop the rise of the black race with the crack, and pay for wars that they fight cross seas. That's what happened when the Republicans was in office. So don't tell me that the Republicans are going to do right by black people, and we know they ain't. And don't tell me nothing about the Democrats. Your boy Joe Biden, Clinton, Hillary, all of them came up with the mass incarceration bill to lock blacks up in the 90s. Facts. Get tough on crime. The war on drugs was created by this government. They went and bought the drugs, made sure the drugs hit black people and locked black people up. But now white people are strung out on this fentanyl. We help them. They strung out on heroin. We help them. But blacks, when crack came out, they locked everybody up and still got brothers doing time and sisters doing time for the crack explosion created by the United Snakes of America. They killed the white guy, Gary Webb, the journalist that exposed it. He exposed it in the 80s. The government, the CIA, Contra scandal, Iran scandal. Your girl Maxine Waters from Black Carcass tried to prove it. And nobody was held accountable for that. Bush died an honorable man. Nobody shitted on his name in the mainstream. But when Kobe died, CBS, white-owned CBS, got Gayle King to try to shit on Kobe's name. But when Bush died, all that criminal shit that Bush did, nobody brung it up in the mainstream. All the criminal shit Queen Elizabeth done to get in the power that Buckingham Palace in, how they stole and killed Africans to get all that gold and that diamonds that they present, you know, to the world. They don't tell everybody they robbed and killed Africans to get all that prestigious gold carats and shit. They got a goddamn a horse carriage, horse carriages made of gold wheels and gold everything. They got about 4 of them big ass carriages made. They got that shit made when they stole that shit out of Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt. They stole a lot of shit, Great Britain. Everywhere they went, them white folks, they stole and killed and maimed Africans. Motherfuckers owe black people, man. That's why I don't vote. Black people, I hope that answers some of your questions. Vote responsibly. Vote responsibly. That's what you got to do. Vote responsible. I mean, do what you need to do. I'm just telling you, I have no dog in the race. And if you fear the Republicans going to take your Social Security, take your welfare, take your pension, or whatever, the Democrats may not take it. They may do the same thing. They're the same people. You say lesser evil. Evil is evil. No matter what. Lesser, more. There's no in between. Black people, you can't indulge in the evil. You have to build your own. And stay on America's neck about that reparations. Because if a nigga owed another nigga, he'll be on that nigga's neck. Constantly on that nigga's neck. Until he choke that nigga out if he don't pay him. They owe down. So don't think because you may be unfortunate when you may be on welfare, Social Security, no job, walk around homeless. If you black, somebody owe you. And you poor for a reason. I don't look down on nobody that doesn't have anything that I may have. And if I got something, you know, me, I try to help people out. That's just me. And if I don't have anything, I don't hate on nobody who has something that may look like me. We must get rid of that jealousy. That was created up on that slave plantation. So, Joe Biden them got money to sponsor terrorism. You know, sponsor to be complicit in the genocide and stuff like that. But they got no money to give black people that they owe black people. That's why I don't vote. Democrat or Republican, to me, are the same entity. Same slave plantation. Peace. Black power.